Hola mi gente. What up, though? It's your host of the neighborhood in the streets the most, Jay Hodge with In Your Hood, InYourHood.com. And again, this is another news segment, another installment of Hood Sites. So welcome to another segment of Hood Sites. And like we always say, the purpose is to provide mental enhancement to the black community and enhance the things that you do know and disrupt the things that you don't know. And so, knowing that everybody cannot or do not have the time to seek out information and pay attention to all the moving pieces and parts in the world and in the black community, I'm making sure that Hood Sites is plugging you with the information. And oh yeah, y'all think because it's just the weekend, because it's the weekend, we not working? It's not information to be received and to be had? It is. We don't care that it's a Saturday. We don't care that it's a Sunday. Today is Sunday, and like I said, it's always the time on the weekends to get ahead, plan for the week upcoming, and get things structured and organized. So let's go. Let's go. Today's news segment is titled, Black Women Lead Initiative to Raise $100 million for Black girls and women in the South. Again, Black women lead initiatives to raise $100 million for Black girls and women in the South. It says, the subtitle says, the Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium aims to raise $100 million in the next 10 years. In the next 10 years. So, continuing. You already know about Latasha Brown's work as the co-founder of Black Voters Matter, the Black Voters Matter Fund, and Black Voters Matter Capacity Building Institute. The Alabama-born, Georgia-based activist is one of the anchors of the effort that turned Georgia blue this past election cycle, helping the Democrats gain a slim one-vote majority in the Senate with Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote. Continuing. Community organizer, cultural activist, and nonprofit executive Margo Miller is another accomplished Black woman. The Tennessee native is the executive director of the Appalachian Community Fund, a nonprofit seeking to counter poverty and improve the lives and residents of Central Appalachia, which includes East Tennessee, West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, Southwest Virginia, and all of West Virginia. Continuing. Given all that they already do, you would think that their plates would be a little too full to do much more. But Brown and Miller want to empower others to continue in their footsteps. Two are part of the Southern Black Girls and Women Consortium, along with Felicia Lucky, president of the Black Belt Community Foundation, and Alice Jenkins, executive director of the Fund for Southern Communities. The consortium has given itself the ambitious task of raising $100 million for Black women and girls over the next decade. They've already raised $10 million of that total and are in the progress of raising more. Some of those funds have already been distributed to community organizations in the form of grants. In just one example, two young women in Lowndes County, Georgia, used a $250 grant to fund a drive-in screening of Black Panther to provide a safe and entertainment alternative for the community as the pandemic continued. Continuing. On Wednesday, March 31st, the consortium will host a chat via their Twitter account at Black Girls Dream. Make sure you follow. From 1:20 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern to discuss the state of Black women and girls. And that has passed, but still it occurred. It may be the last day of Women's History Month, but it's always the right time to support women's empowerment. The Griot talked to Brown and Miller to find out more about the initiative and how you can support their efforts. And here are their words and their quotes below. Latasha Brown, this is her quote and her words. I had a vision, actually. I've worked as an organizer for a number of years, and I've also worked in philanthropy for more than 15 years. There was a report that came out from the Southern Rural Black Women, and it was called Unequal Lives. And in the report, it talks about how less than 1% of philanthropic dollars, out of the billions of dollars that come to the South are going to Black women and girls. I'm going to read that again. And in the report, it talks about how less than 1% of philanthropic dollars out of the billions of dollars that come to the South are going to Black women and girls. And initially what I want to do is I wanted to call philanthropy out. Like, why are you not supporting Black women and girls, particularly in the South, when we are basically carrying this region on our backs? Well, one day I was literally in the shower, and I don't have any other way to say it, but the truth, literally, Spirit spoke to me. It was essentially we could continue to try to get traditional philanthropy to shift, or we could lead the way. I got this vision of creating this network, the Southern Black Girls Consortium, and it was so strong that I actually had to jump out the shower. What to do? Black girls and women need to fund most in your experience. What do Black girls and women need to fund most in your experience? Does the South in particular have more Black girls and women that need financial assistance? If so, why is that? Margo Miller, this is a quote in her words. Margo Miller, Black women are enrolled in and graduating from school in the highest percentage across all racial and gender lines. Yet we still make far less more than our white counterparts. Education is critical, but degrees in financial literacy alone have not closed the wealth gap. The same is true of college degreed Black women and health disparities. Despite this, philanthropic investment steered toward Black women and girls in the South is still less than 1%. We have to be innovative and intentional about attacking the complex challenges facing us. And we have to listen to the underrepresented to develop solutions for them. And continuing. In another question, why the focus exclusively on the South? Don't Black girls and women need help everywhere? Latasha Brown, this is her answer and quote in her words. Because the majority of Black people live in the South, in addition, what the South has been in is, again, correction. Latasha Brown, her answer, quotation. Her words. Because the majority of Black people live in the South. In addition, what the South has been is the place that has rooted white patriarchy supremacy. We see those policies that have been harmful and traumatic to our community and to Black girls and women. It was Southern Black people that were literally enslaved and were in the slave states that generated the foundational wealth of this country. But now we live in some of the poorest conditions. There has been a marginalization of us in our own communities. And another question, continuing. What is the ultimate mission for this fund? To fund girls' dreams in what way? How do you measure the success for this initiative? Now, this is a quote in the words of Margo Miller and her answer. The vision contains our desire to fund the needs that Southern girls have identified for themselves. We designed listening sessions to learn Black girls' perceptions about themselves, their needs, their dreams, and the resources they need. This information was critical to design funding approaches that ensure equitable distribution of funds to organizations serving Black girls throughout the Southeast, and to identify funding priorities that address the current needs of Black girls while having a long-term impact on their development and their lives. Continuing, Latasha hopes this work will result in a shift in how Black girls in the South see themselves, not as victims, but as victors. If we do nothing else but that, then we would have been highly, highly successful. Another question, continuing. What is the call to action? What do you want people to do to assist this effort that you have put together with the help of these other organizations and these dynamic women? And this is the quote and the wording of Latasha Brown and her answer. Ultimately, we want this fund to be fun. We want this to be a fund that's been invested in by individuals, not just foundations, but our community. We are in the business of supporting groups that have a track record of distributing resources that's fair and effective. We want to engage Black women and Black girls. We see this as a collective effort. End of article. And so, again, the title of this news segment and this reading was called Black Women Lead Initiative to Raise $100 million for Black Girls and Women in the South. And yet, like I always say, this is another instance in another sensational, iconic, and legacy building act that was done out of the cultural power, the cultural identity, and also the cultural equity of these women. And these women are, through their culture, are able to identify constraints in the community. They are able to identify issues, challenges, and problems and address them using their culture and the power that they have from the culture to come up with the solutions that's necessary for advancement for Black women, Black girls, and the community, the entire community of Black women and Black girls in the South. And so, again, this is called Black Women Lead Initiative to raise $100 million for Black girls and women in the South. And the two that are heavily involved and that are the key components is Latasha Brown and Margo Miller. And this has been another news segment of Hood Sites. Always, always, always go to www.inyourhood.com. Sign up for a free account. Keep up with the latest daily news updates and content that's generated. Like I always say, follow us on all social media platforms at His Excellency _J.Hodge on Instagram, Facebook. You already know, because if you're watching this, then you know it's In Your Hood. That's the name of our business page, and then also at In Your Hood J.Hodge, all one word, if you want to tag me. And then also over on YouTube, our YouTube channel, J Space Hodge, HAJJ. Go subscribe, comment, and like I always say, send me a message, send me an email, and like I say, explore every aspect of In Your Hood. These new segments will continue daily, and on our website, like I said, we have lectures, we have Black history, the true essence of it. We have world Black news, we have local Black news, we have a television series, and we have over on our Instagram channel, we have a series called You Gotta Peep It, where we just address every aspect of the Black community, locally and globally. And we also have a new series coming out on our YouTube channel that is called 10 Toes Down in Your Stomping Ground, where we're going to highlight historical Black areas in different states, in all 50 states, from the United States to the Caribbean. And we're going to educate the community about the importance and the significance of certain areas. So be looking out for that. That's coming soon. And like I will always say, this has been another edition of Hood Sites, and I'm going to get on y'all tomorrow.